Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I have a question actually. Like you were, so far I know that follower of Argentine football.
yes.
Like you watch a few matches, and there are plenty of players are moving to Spain this year from Argentina. Like,
Well, not a lot in Spain. I mean, today I've seen.
well, like now it's not the perfect situation, but still, like a lot of Argentines are moving. Like we talked about Rodrigo De Paul, Eric Lamela, or Foyt from Tottenham Hotspur.
Or even Gonzalo
Uh,
Montiel. Montiel
yeah, Montiel.
is a promising player.
Yeah, there is this player who was playing for Boca Juniors actually. Um, I think Petzela uh, actually brought in from Fiorentina to Real Betis. Um,
Yes, yes.
and uh, who's the player? Let me check. A little quick
To
check.
what I know for sure, Javier Pastor is getting back to Elche from Roma.
Yeah.
He was not in the plan of Mourinho. I know for sure Huesca, who is in the second division, signed Adolfo Gaich. I was a bit disappointed with that, but Gaich was supposed to be on the same level, like up and coming number 9, and he got into Spain in second division, which is not a bad thing. I mean, he has to play and he has to score a lot of goals in order to come back to the contention. The other Argentine, I think, is there are a lot of interest for Facundo Farias of Independiente from all over Europe. I think a lot of people are looking into it. There, if you remember, there is Sarmiento, where Manchester City
Mm.
signed player. He is playing, I think, in uh, Catalan team, uh,
Espanyol?
Girona.
Oh, Girona. Okay.
Is getting there. Obviously, Nahuel Perez is now in Syria. Uh, but other Argentine that are.
I want to mention this player Ivan Margoni from Boca Juniors to Elche this season actually.
I think he played last year as well. Marcone used to be one of the most hyped player. Used to be quite for a long time, but Marcone didn't really lived up. That can be true for like someone like Kranviter
Mm.
of River. It was same amount of time that Marcone. There was a lot of interest in Mexico for him, and Elche is a good place for him as well. If he can perform well, I think he can be in the contention as a backup. But Marcone has been talked a lot in Boca Juniors. But I think in recent years, if someone from Boca has come and do very well, I think it's one of the name would be Capaldo. I think he started
Mm.
in is it Austrian team in Bundesliga, the Red Bull.
Red Bull, yeah.
Yeah, is doing fairly well on that team. There is Ceballos. Sorry, Ceballos is still in Boca, but there's an um, there's a Belgian team. I think it's a Club Brugge, or I'm probably not remembering. It's the other Palacios. He used to be um, like when Pedri played for under 17 or under 18 for Spain, he was the main man, and for Argentina it was the other Palacios. I think I forgot his first name, but he struck me as one of the finest talents coming out. As well as now Luca Romero is playing for Lazio. So there are a lot of talents coming in, especially in from Argentina. But there are stepping stones for such as Capaldo, who's gone for Bundesliga, or there are Belgian leagues and stuff like that, and if they do well and qualify, I think eventually they'll move towards a more bigger name and more bigger club. And the other, I think, in England there's a trend right now. I mean, there are certain teams that likes quite Argentine talent, such as Brighton is looking increasingly for that. But yeah, I mean, to me, Italy and Spain seems to be more favorable still for Argentina.
Yeah, I think because of the language also, like
And the
there aren't
playing
like
style.
much, yeah, playing style also as well. And there aren't like much rich history like an Argentine is shining in a Premier League other than other like there
Very,
aren't much.
very few, other
Yeah,
than
very few. Yeah,
Sergio Aguero, or if you even consider Carlos Tevez.
yeah, you can like handpick them like not much.
Exactly. It's not money, to be honest. And yeah, but to be honest, this current Argentine national team, there are quite a lot of young players on that team. I mean, such as the Palacios of Bayer Leverkusen. He's just 22, 23. I've mentioned about Gonzalo Montiel, 24. Nico Gonzalez of Fiorentina is what, 23 or 22. There's Christian Romero is just 23. Yeah, there are a lot of youngsters. Even Nico Dominguez has started the season for Bologna very well. He's 23. So there's quite a good bunch of very young players coming up in the mix, as well as Julian Alvarez. There's a lot of interest for him. He's in the national team as well from River. I think what is actually worrisome is that it's the first time the Argentine teams are not doing well in Copa Libertadores for a long time. This normally River Plate does fairly well as Boca Juniors. I mean, they had to.
Well, I haven't like Buka is kind of like out of the picture for a while.
Yeah,
No.
they're not there. But the other teams such as Vélez or Racing normally does fairly
Yeah,
well.
racing. Yeah.
But yeah, so far it's been not, and there were some surprising teams such as Justicia y Defensa. There were quite a bit of good players coming from that time. Lisandro Martinez is one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that team came from third divisions to second division and to the Premier Division, and that team did well for a short time, and obviously the talents got been sold, and now that team is struggling too. But the problem, I think, lies on the structure of the Argentine football of the league. Is 28 teams in the first division, Premier Division. I think it has to change. The relegation has to change. The corruption, the passion is there, the talent is there. But
Yeah, it should be brought to like at least 20, 21 or 22 teams like
exactly.
because it's like a long league and it's like at some point it becomes like right nowadays physical. Like I try to watch some matches and well it's
It's
even
always
like with
physical. It's always.
yeah, but still like there were some talents who can actually like in the past you can see them and like in jersey or like a match against uh, Boca River Plate match,
Yeah.
you can see those heat. Even like with other teams, you can feel those heat. But still, there were like some talents who can actually like,
Well,
separate themselves from that.
I am actually personally very, very excited with the current Boca's younger team. I mean, there are some really, really talented youngsters in this current Boca team. I mean, they're not definitely competing to be the top spot, but I think they are very, very talented, and it would be very interesting if they can keep this team for at least a couple of years. They definitely. Zeballos is one of the best players I think in Argentina at this point, and he's 17 years of age. or maybe 18. I could be wrong. And yeah, they're players. But what is showing at this point is there are certain players being brought by some Brazilian teams, such as Atlético Mineiro has quite a bit of Argentine, such as Nacho Fernandez being brought there, as well as the other one. Is it Robert Tone or is it there was one of the Matias Geracho. Geracho was brought there. I think they're doing very well in terms of Brazilian league, as well as Copa Libertadores. There are other teams such as Palmeiras. No, Palmeiras doesn't have many, but Sao Paulo has quite a few Argentines as well, and some of the recycled players such as Rigoni, who didn't really do well, went back and doing fairly well in Brazilian league as well. So, and what is exciting in Brazilian league is that some of the good players are going back in Brazil, such as Willian very recently is going back in Brazil. Luis Felipe have already been there. Dani Alves is playing there. So there are definitely some talents going back, and Brazilian teams look like ascending. Like this is the first time in quarterfinal 6 teams were of Brazil, so which shows the dominance of the talents that Brazilian team is possessing at this point, and the finance.
Yeah, also like in past 2 years they stopped the how can I say brain drain towards China. Actually, there were pretty good players who were like who could actually play for the Brazil team. Like we talked about Brazilian midfield, um, because like Brazil suddenly found themselves there, but it wasn't actually a sudden process. It was like 5 years of invasion from China. Like players were brought to China and they were getting like I don't know same amount of money as a superstar player, and yeah, but for some reason it stopped for like it's not stopped completely, but it's not like in a massive way right now.
No, it's more right now. It's MLS.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily Brazilian players, but Argentine young talents are being brought there.
Yeah.
And yeah, if there are certainly very good players in MLS, and I hope some of them really goes into Europe. But yeah, that's disappointing in terms of Argentine teams. But I think there are enough talents. There will be always talents on that Argentine leagues and Argentine teams, and there are certain academies I think are doing really well, such as Vela's current team doesn't do it. I mean, in terms of result, and I don't like their current manager as well, but I always have faith on their academy. They produce some good players. If we look at the Racing, current Argentine, I think one of the backbone are from Racing, Lautaro Martinez to Rodrigo de Paul, and they have produced enough players over the years. There was quite a bit of link with Inter Milan because of Diego Milito was there, but Milito has resigned recently. I don't know who's covering that. There were some hopes of not Independiente, but Sabella used to coach that team. Can't remember at this point, but Estudiantes, sorry.
Estudiantes, yeah.
Estudiantes. Juan Sebastian Veron is on the helm, and after he has taken over, I don't think there are a lot of talents coming out of that. There's Argentinos Juniors. There's a lot of talents coming out. One of the notable one is Foster Vera, who was the captain of the Argentine under-23 team, and or was he? I think Nahuel Perez was the captain. So, but he was one of the leaders of that team. But that would be an interesting player to watch to come up. What they come up with, and there are certain definitely good players coming out of Independiente and so Argentinos Juniors and stuff like that. But one of the one of the players to watch for is coming either from River Plate or Boca or in terms of Independiente of Facundo Farias. I think he's very exciting. He recently said he actually enjoys the physical aspect of uh, Argentine league, the tackles, because he enjoys being tackled and thrashed, so he can go back and score against them. And yeah, looks quite a tough youngster. If he can keep it up, he'll be very soon in Europe. But yeah, I totally see that there's a bit of regression on the quality of the league, and it's been there for a while.
Yeah, like there were some money problems were going on in Argentine football league for like last 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
probably. So yeah, like they could have actually make the league more interesting by like make it as a 20 team league or something like this. Then you will have like 8 or 9 more teams to fighting for the. It will be more interesting at that time.
But
Well,
yeah,
any thoughts?
I think it's getting
So,
quite long in terms of discussion. To be honest, I think we have to. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you.
um, any thoughts on like emerging Brazilian players
Oh,
from?
there are quite a lot. I mean, there some of the Brazilian teams already has it, and this current national team coach have called up some talents as well because of the club versus country kind of debate.
Yeah,
And the Brazilian team is actually doing club teams actually doing fairly well, and thanks to some of the veteran players such as Dani Alves coming back, as well as uh, some of the coaches they've got, such as Hernan Crespo going into Sao Paulo. They've changed it. So I don't like personally Sao Paulo, but Sao Paulo going into Atletico Mineiro have changed their system and playing system. And also some of the team are producing some fund to change and look to dominate the continental tournaments such as
yeah. Right after the COVID, they have some sort of like financial problems. Like they could not pay even like club. Uh, I don't know, like a field operator or something like this, like who was preparing the field and other staff members from the club. So
yeah.
there are like lot of problems going on in
So
Brazilian league.
so for me, I think I still feel well Vinicius Junior. I mean, for the young bunch,
Mhm.
is a top pick for me. He would do well. Rodrigo as well. I don't know if he can find some playing time. Cunha is very interesting. I think very interesting prospect under Simeone. I'm talking about Europe. If we even exclude Europe, I mean, Gabriel Barbosa still young man and still has
Yeah.
time to develop and do well. I think Ribeiro. I think Everton Ribeiro. If I'm
Mm.
yeah, he's quite good for Santos. Is it Santos or Palmeiras? I can't remember his current team. But it's been very good for the local league in terms of goal scoring ability. But the problem is when they're brought into the international scene, they don't have much continuity. Um, it is tough to get into the Brazilian team because of the lot of names and. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of players coming up, and a lot of players were on display in the under 23 and Olympic team. I think there's very good players coming out, and there are always European team has always soft spot for Brazilian young talent, and there will be a lot coming already came. So yeah, just to keep it in brief. And we can talk
Okay.
we can talk a lot about South American football in a different.
Yeah, probably we will, but I think there is a Libertadores. Sorry.
Libertadores,
Copa
yeah, yeah,
Libertadores is going on.
yeah,
At, maybe we can discuss about it sometime.
yeah, definitely. Uh, yeah, and we talked about a little bit about Cristiano Ronaldo breaking the international goal scoring record for the national teams.
Mm.
Congratulations to him again, and there are some interesting results in European qualifying. Spain got beaten by Sweden, one of the
Yeah, maybe
not
we should actually discuss those in another video because it would be.
yeah, it is getting
I
quite
have
quite long.
something to, yeah,
It is getting
edit.
quite long.
Like,
Sure.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll stop this at this point if we don't have anything else to add or any other question.
I don't think so. Like we probably the deadline has ended yesterday from Spain, and I think we covered most of the transfers,
Yeah.
like
Well,
important transfers, actually.
yeah, yeah. Thank you again
Yeah, no problem.
for joining. It was fun as usual. We'll definitely come back with certain other topics, and I'm trying to get more information about certain. Like if we're prepared, then we'll try to get into more information as we go. But I thought this transfer window was one of the wildest window I've seen.
Yeah, I have never seen something like this actually. So many waves and everywhere it's so rumored, and I don't know. Like at some point, I actually I just gave up. Like I was believing everything they say.
Yeah, true, true.
Yeah, it could be possible. Like everything was possible. It seemed
Yeah.
so, but
Okay.
I wasn't actually expecting it because of the COVID situation. But it happened anyway.
Yeah, it seems odd, but again, nonetheless, it's been really crazy, and I'm glad we covered most of them, and for our sake. And if anyone is actually seeing this or even listening to this on the background, please feel free to reach us, know your thoughts and comments, and share some of your thoughts. And if you can kindly subscribe the channel, that would be awesome. So we can talk and bring some more interesting content for you. And yeah, just being irregular doesn't mean that we don't love the football. We love as much as the game. We're like the Barca senior players. We're not here for money.
We don't need the money.
What do we need then? We need the sports, nothing else.
So we just do it for fun.
Yeah, exactly. On that note, I guess we can say bye to you and to our viewers, if there is any. Any last minute thought?
Nothing. Just subscribe us, comment us, especially. We would love to reply some of them actually.
And in case you have to insult us, do it in a constructive way. We don't take it abuse, really.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Exactly.
but yeah, thank you again.